Hello there, folks, and welcome to the stream. My name is Mike D'Angelo, aka That Tellest Guy. As you can tell, I have a little bit of a nasal sound in my voice. Still not 100% after sinus infection last week, which is one of the reasons that we were not live last week. We did a couple of bonus episodes that happened later in the week when I was feeling better, but not quite sounding 100% yet. Those are exclusive timed for a short while to our patrons. We went over the pivot plan that we have in case we can't get our mouse pads anytime soon, and then we also did an episode that was going over one of our day one backer maps, basically for the folks who did the Kickstarter. We are going to be spending some time today doing some variants. If I have time, I'm going to do variants for two different maps. We're going to start off with our Jungle Temple entrance map, just because we've had this for a little while now, and I want to try and put some movement on it. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with a heavy rain variant. I've already got it renamed and everything like that. The easy enough way to do this is honestly just to go into your filters, add a new filter, go into rain, do whatever you need to do there. But I've come to really enjoy the new. Oh, why is that not working? Oh, because I didn't save something. Give me 1 second. Whatever, we'll just save it. So it won't let you do that custom layers feature until you're saved. So we're going to do a real quick save, and then we're going to move things back over to the custom layers tool, which is not going to be a choice for people for very long. It's eventually going to be something that everybody has access to by default, and you're not going to be able to go back to the current way of doing things. So hopefully, you're watching me do this, you're watching other people do this. If you are trying to learn how to do, the stuff that you want to do with Incarnate, and then we'll show you what else you can do with this function. So again, this is an early access thing. Incarnate has what's called an explorer, as far as like people who have access to new features. And I applied to be an explorer, I think back in maybe it was October of last year, and I got accepted. They are currently enrolling for explorers again. I've asked to have that access once more because I don't do maps as quick or as much as I'd like to, but it's good for me to know about these kind of things that are coming down so that I can involve my team, so that I can talk to people who like this kind of stuff, like you guys, stuff like that. Why are you being a pain in my butt, chat? Butt chat. Well, closed a dockable window. Pardon me for a second. I don't know where it went. There we go. Maybe you will show up now. Looks like it's trying to load, so that's nice. Okay, so we've got the different layers now. What we're going to do next is add a couple of layers. First and foremost, one of the things that we need is going to be our filter layer. So we're specifically going to do a couple of rain filters. The reason that we're going to do two is just because this is supposed to be kind of like a heavier rain, and we want to kind of really make it look kind of stormy. So we're going to come in here and we're going to go to the layer options. This should give us the option to either stretch or repeat. We're going to do it both ways because that again will help to kind of present a much more vibrant kind of rain. So we've got the filter layer here, which we already did. We're going to do, it's weird that it's not letting me touch it, but that's fine. Another filter layer, still rain. And you can see right now it's just the same thing. What we are going to do is come in here and we're going to change it to repeat, and the opacity is going to go all the way up. It just gives you more rain to work with. Now, by itself, the rain's not doing too much. What we're going to end up doing after this is we're going to put a night filter as well, and that'll make it look a little bit more stormy and stuff like that. We might also throw some storm clouds into the mix, something like that, and then we also have to throw down some other water elements to make it pop that much more. But let's start off with something else that you might have noticed. We've got some lit sconces here, and we need to get rid of that. So let's see if we go into the object layer here. We're going to have a lot of lights that we're going to take out. And that's not what's making the sconces bright. That's just an extra element that the original artist of this map, Arturo from Nerdy Maps, he had that stuff. So what we're going to end up doing is coming to the object layer down here. Man, he did a lot of objects. We're going to come into this. This is the sconce lit, and we're going to go back into here and type in sconce. And it should be in the jungle set. There you go. So it's just sconces lit, sconces unlit. I mean, there's a broken one as well that we can use. What we're going to do is make comparisons between the two of these, and then scooch that into place. So the rotation was 49 degrees. So we're going to do the same thing here. 49 degrees. It's already sized properly. Boom. That's good. Now we also have to do the one over here. So let's make sure the rotation is right. So 314 is our happy number this time. Throw that there. Doesn't have to be perfect. And here we've got another sconce. Let's see if we've got our unlit ones. And you can see he ended up he has it so that they're flipped. So that's how you end up with those. Let's scooch that up a tiny smidge more so it lines up a little better with the one over there. And let's go into lit instead. It should give us all of them. Boink. All right, we're good there. Let's now add our night filter as well. So we'll go back up to the object layer and we'll go to the filters and we're going to do night. This one probably not a full 100%. We're just going to do this one around 50. We might even pull it back a little bit because it's not technically supposed to be night. Let's actually see. There you go. It kind of lightens up the rain a little bit, or darkens it up, I should say. Let's come back in here. We're going to actually bring the opacity down to about 33. Again, it kind of, that changes it from looking like night to looking like a storm. Let's go into, we're on our object layer, so that's fine. Let's go to cloud. Let's see if we can pull that together. I don't remember if this is how you can pull this off, but I think you can. If you come up here and you do, you know what we're going to do? It doesn't make sense to have the clouds below the rain. So we're going to do an object layer and we're going to move it above rain. Throw a cloud down again. So you can see now it's actually disguising the rain beneath it. The rain won't show up above the cloud. So that's good. And what we'll end up doing is going into the advanced settings and we're going to change the color, the brightness specifically down to, we'll do something like 35 and then try and mess with the contrast to make it pop a little bit more. Don't have to do anything with the saturation because there's no real color. Let's just play with that a little bit and we're going to mess with the opacity too. And we're going to quite embiggen that. And we'll just do a couple of passes of these clouds here and there. Might even take that down a tiny smidge more as far as the opacity goes. Ooh, it would help if I had them all. Okay, so that's good to go. Let's do a lock on these real quick. was an easier way to go about that, but I don't care. All right, so we've got all this rain and everything like that. It's important for us next to do something with that rain. It doesn't really make sense for the rain to be there and it not to be doing anything. So let's see what we've got as far as the foreground layer and stuff like that. The object layer means that the trees are going to be there, so I'm not going to do anything above the object layer, but let's do another thing above the foreground layer. We're going to go back into our add layers. We're going to do a new brush layer, and then we'll just do, this is going to be a mud layer. So let's go find, let's see what he's been playing with. So he was doing some dry mud. We're going to do some wet mud. So I think technically I could just throw this in here all willy-nilly. It's not going to affect the grass layers that he did, so that's good. What we're going to do is go into our texture scale, and we're going to bring that down to about 50. And that way, if there are some texture bits that we want, we'll get that a little bit better. We're going to do around that water there. And let's do it in a couple of other places, maybe with a little less reach around these areas. Where that there's kind of grass, maybe in the center of here we'll do a little bit more of it as well. Maybe we'll do it with the opacity down to like 50 in here. Make it look a little bit more messy. This rain should be doing a little bit of stuff here and there. Let's see. Does the, you know, I do have to go back to there, but I just wanted to see what kind of alpha layers we had. We have water reflections alpha, water foam. Meh, we'll leave it be for now. Let's go back to maybe like 75. I'm gonna keep going around here. Just muddy it up a little bit. Same thing around here. Let's definitely do some around here. Got some more grass over here that we should be filling up, especially because it's coming down off of that statue. Get rid of that grass. We'll wipe that out. Okay. That's pretty good. Let's do one more little pass of some stuff. We're going to take the jungle water. It's a little bit like this, and we're on the mud layer still, but it's not going to be what we want. So if we go above the object layer, what we're going to do is fill up this little old well. And we'll call it rainwater. Oh, it would help if I could label it. Okay, and in here, I don't want to do too much as far as changing the texture or anything like that. We'll just do that. Let's try it one without. I actually think that I prefer it that way. Okay, and let's do the same thing over here, actually. Let me think. We've got the object layer there. Let's go to the mud layer. It's technically not really... Okay, so that's not going to work. We might be able to do it above the background, but below the foreground. Let's try that real quick. Let's call it the well, let's make sure it works first. And it doesn't. Okay, move it down perhaps. Hello. Unfortunately, I do not think that's working because I think the layer mask might be over top of that. Let's try it out real quick. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I wonder if there we go. Sort of. So on the background layer itself, he's got some stuff painted in. So we have to be a little bit more precise about this. And that's perfectly fine. What we're going to end up doing is tweaking that anyway. Okay, and then same thing over here. You can't even really tell because I don't have anything there yet, but let's go into our texture one more time. That might not be on the same layer. We do have to erase some of that. And let's come back down to our brush layer 6, and we're going to mess with the opacity of this one a little bit. Make it look like it's down there a little bit further. Okay, so that kind of looks like it's dripping down. That's good. That's what we want. Let's see if we can't find the waterfall. We're going to really play with this real quick. There's definitely some shadowy discoloration there. Let's see if we can't get rid of that. So that's the foreground. It's the background. Here, you know what? We'll do it with the opacity all the way up. I wonder if that's the layer mask. Nope. Where is that? Turn the grid off real quick. That's weird. I don't know where that's coming from. Let's go back into the layer mask real quick. Play with this to add it in. No, it's not a layer mask problem. What I'm doing. Basically, you just want to go back to where the grid was there. There we go. All right, let's try and go back to our object layer and see if we can't find our... It's really weird. Let's do this real quick. If we put it on the object layer up here, does it show up above? It does, but I don't really want it there. Really weird. Let's do another object layer. rainwater. See if that helps us out a little bit better. A little, I suppose. It still goes under there, which is kind of weird. Let's change the opacity to this. Make it look a little bit different. Do another one over here on this side. Shrink it down some. And then we'll round out the bunch with this one over here. And one last time, let's try and see. Is it the cloud? Is the cloud screwing that up? Cloud. That's really weird. Alright, we've got the rainwater one is the only other one, right? Let's try something real quick. So there's still something there. What is it that's doing that? Back to rainwater, we're going to do an erase. And one more time, let's throw the color on there. It's really weird, man. The Azure waterfalls, the jungle trees. Yeah, that's weird. Oh, you know what it is? It's the top layer. Don't worry about me, I'm just being dumb. Alrighty. Let's do 33%. This will help us. You know what it is now that I know that it's there? I don't care enough to take it apart. So we'll keep it the way it was. It's doing what it needs to do. We got all the mud and everything. Let's do a final save for this variant. And when that's done, we're going to come out, go back in, and do an unfurnished version of the map. Okay, we've got our jungle entrance over here, so let's do another clone. Unfurnished. We'll probably do just a night map too. Them's is easy. So typically for the unfurnished maps, all we're doing is taking apart any kind of human element or humanoid element or living element. So no animals, you know, nothing that was made by a human or anything like that. So we're going to be taking out a lot of the stuff. But the bushes can stay. Sometimes it's easier to go here and see what you got, especially with as many items as we have. So we're going to do this, all stamps from this set, delete. Same thing up here, all stamps from this set, delete. Keep going. Golden cup. All stamps like that. Broken crates. Broken barrels. Broken boxes. Ceramic jugs. Broken ceramic jugs. Jungle stool. The old well, I think, is the only one. We are going to have to get rid of that. And it looks like we've lost a little bit down there as well. So we're going to go back to the background and put a little something here to fill that in. Let's see, that's okay. The crocodile decoration's got to go though. All stamps from this side. Boing. And the hole can stay. Pickaxe, you got to go. Fishing anchor was being used kind of like a grappling hook. Arturo likes that. So we're down a little over 100 objects. A lot of the object is grass. You did a really good job putting like the greenery together. Keeping it going. Alright, so we're on to some other stuff. We got the rocks, we got the fallen trees. Snake statues, you gotta go. Panther head entrance, you gotta go. Shaman statue, you gotta go. Entrance, you gotta go. Alright, we'll get rid of the sconces again. The temple roof's gonna go. Jungle walls, I think that's just stone. Oh, no, it's that stuff down there, which technically does have to go. So we'll see how it ends up looking after we get rid of it. Let's go back to our brush, and we're going to get rid of the stuff on the top layer because... Oh, God! Arturo does like to use shadow. And that's okay, and that's okay. Let's go back to our background, and we're going to do a little bit of green. Not a huge amount. Let's try and see if the other grass feels a little bit better for what we're trying to do. We'll make the opacity a little lower. Okay. Oop, let's try and erase this if we can. Okay, a little bit of shade gone. Alright, still a little bit more to do. Okay, that could... Oh, wow. There's an additional 1,200 pieces of grass. Now keep going. Lots of grass lines. Alright, what do we got here? That is not what I needed to take. Here's a trick that I should... No! You leave me alone. Alright, we're going to click out of that line, and then we're going to go into the line one more time, and we're going to go into here, draw a little line, and select it. And then we're going to select all lines of this style, if we can, if it'll let us. Something locked. So I'm trying to get to that line right there. So it was... Which one was this one called? Colorful temple roof. It's weird that I couldn't grab it, or couldn't find it for that matter. Alright, and then we need to use the top layer tool one more time to clear out any of that darkness. Got a little bit of oddities here and there because of the lack of pieces. So let's try and see if we can't clean that up some. So that's a line. Let's go into the nodes. this one here. Let's go back into our background and we're going to smush a little bit more of it in here. We're going to do it with the actual grass. Maybe a little less opacity. Okay, and same thing over here. We got to lose some stuff. So let's grab this one here. This was a line as well. Just like, can we just completely lose that? Or something like that, and then again smush some grass up in there to make it pop a little bit. I don't think that we need anything anywhere else, and that's pretty much it. All right, so we did 2 variants. Again, I said we're going to probably do a night map and then maybe 1 or 2 maps, because I don't like to just have like 2 variants. I like to give our audience, our patrons, a little bit more than that. So we will work on that. Let's, in the meantime, we're going to go over to our show closing page. So folks, on the screen right now, you should see all the places that you can find Tellest out there on the internet. Tellest.com is a great first place to start because it'll bring you to our other projects. We have a couple of map-related sites that you can check out. Patreon.com/Tellest is the best way to get your maps from us because it will get you, I think at this point, over 160 digital maps that already exist, and between 4 and 8 maps, and we usually go beyond that as well, per month in addition, with high-res gridded and gridless versions and variants. Tellest.etsy.com is going to be a good place to look at again shortly, but currently we don't have our maps up for sale there. Those would be the physical maps, but our print partner is currently running through some logistics problems that we're trying to work through. Hopefully next month. I heard good news possibly today. I hope it was good news. It was kind of vague. Anyway, battlemapfantasy.com is where you can get all of our maps a la carte in digital form. That'll basically bring you to our drive-through RPG publisher page. So you should check that out. We have 2 TikToks that you should look at Weird Witch Wands is where you can find all of Rihanna's handcrafted goodies, and at Tales of Tellest is where you can see our dogs doing their funny stuff. And then we've got 2 other video sites that you got to check out. YouTube.com/@worldoftellest is where you can find all of our content for, fantasy facing stuff, well after they're gone from our other platform, which is twitch.tv/thattellestguy, which is the only place that you can check us out live. That's where you can come here, you can learn the techniques, speak to me while you're watching, get your quest coins. We are right around the corner from starting QQ back up. We recently just did a special D&D crossover with the guys over at Get 'em Next Year, and it seems like that might kickstart QQ to move forward again. So we're going to have a QQ live, and I think our first episode back is going to be a special wrestling themed one. So we will take a look at that. But in the meantime, we're going to wrap things up for today, and I will be back tomorrow. But until then, I'll miss you.